Alright, so here's my Arduino code. As you can see, I set A1 and A2 to inputs. That's where I have them located here, A1 and A2. And also set the baud rate, what was specified in the lab. I did float for FS as well as DT because I knew that it could be a non-integer. I did did int for the analog read of the potentiometer and set it to a 2. Then I did 4 if loops to separate the potentiometer into 4 separate areas that would give off 4 different sample frequencies. From there, I have DT calculated by that sample frequency. I did int for the voltage of the end scope to analog read to A1, serial print that voltage to the processing, and then delay. So as you can see here, for the frequency of 75 hertz, here's all the different sample frequencies. There was aliasing that occurred at the 100 hertz and 142 hertz. Here's for the frequency of 100. Aliasing occurred at everything but 500 hertz. Here is for the frequency of 215 hertz. Aliasing occurred everywhere. I would say for the 500 hertz, it was right on the edge of aliasing, really. It was about 10 off of the frequency, so a little bit of aliasing there as well. And then finally, for the 300 hertz signal, all sample frequencies aliased. Here are my calculations for the alias frequency of each different frequency. As you can see here, the actual value was measured from the processing app. The delay is calculated by 1000 over the actual value of the sample frequency. The Nyquist frequency is the actual value divided by 2, as you can see here. The Nyquist rate is 2 times whatever frequency, as you can see here.
Then for the theoretical alias frequency, if the Nyquist frequency of the sample frequency is higher than the frequency that is being looked at, there is no aliasing. However, if the Nyquist frequency is below the frequency being looked at, such as in this case here, you must use a
folding diagram, in order to find the theoretical alias frequency. These coefficients here are all obtained from a foldback diagram, just by comparing the Nyquist frequency to the sample frequency. Then finally, here is a fully filled out table. I kind of went over it all in my previous part of this video, but basically you can see that the only signals that did not alias were 75 hertz at these 2 sample frequencies, the 100 hertz. There's just a little bit of aliasing here at 215 hertz, and then all the 300 hertz were aliased. So as you can see here, here's my circuit for the square wave. I changed the channel from A1 to P1, hooked up to the channel. That goes to the analog read 1 pin in the Arduino, and also you can see that my potentiometer is turned all the way to the right for the 500 sample hertz signal. From there you can see the signal here that is portraying on the screen in the frequency and voltage domain. You can see there's a series of different frequencies with different amplitudes. This is because in order to simulate a square wave with sine and cosine waves, you need an infinite sum of those waves at different frequencies and different amplitudes in order to simulate a square triangle wave. Signal, all the circuit is the same except for I just switched everything back to A1. Finally, here you can see the frequency voltage domain for this triangle wave. As you can see here, it's the same thing as the last video, but a triangle wave takes a smaller sum of cosine and sine functions to approximate. So here you can only really visibly see 3 or 4.